So the Bank of England have just announced that interest rates will remain at 0.1%. So what does this mean for property investors, landlords and homeowners? Now, as a property investor myself, I am always keen and always looking at the interest rates and what the Bank of England are going to do. Now, in anticipation to this announcement, mortgage lenders had already started to put up their interest rates because they presumed that the Bank of England would rise the interest rate to maybe, even if it's just 0.5%, they thought they were going to raise them. And it's a bit of a shock announcement today that they've not raised them at all. Now, I was quite surprised by this because I personally would have raised the interest rates, even though it would have had a bit of a detrimental effect on my own portfolio and everybody else's, obviously. But for the sake of the country and the economy, I think that an interest rate rise would be beneficial. Now, keeping it as low as 0.1% means it practically doesn't cost you anything to borrow money. I mean, obviously it does, but you know what I mean. So is this going to have an effect on the housing market? Of course it is. Now, in a previous video I did about the 18-year property cycle, we estimated that the next property dip or crash will come in 2026. Now the interest rates are being kept at 0.1%. There's definitely no holding back on the property market, and I think that prices will continue to rise for the foreseeable future. There's still a shortage of housing. Money is very, very cheap to borrow, and people still have savings from during the pandemic. So all of this combined together, obviously it's causing big inflation, but in terms of property and the property market, I think that the property prices are going to continue to rise. Now, I don't think it's possible for them to continue to rise at the pace they have been over the last few months, but nevertheless, I think they will continue to creep up until the Bank of England actually do something quite drastic, rather than just keeping interest rates as low as nothing, or even an increase in 0.5% or 1% isn't going to make a massive difference. But the banks and the lenders have already started to put up their rates as of a few days ago, or even a few weeks ago. I spoke to my mortgage broker just a couple of days ago, and he told me that he could already see a number of lenders putting up their rates by 0.1, 0.2, 0.5%. So although the Bank of England have held them at 0.1% for now, I think that you should be wary that in the near future they will be going up. If you do own property and you do have your mortgage deals coming to an end, I personally would get them fixed for a longer period if possible. I always fix mine on a 2 years period, but if you can get a 5-year fixed period at a really low rate, then I'd definitely go for that. I can't see interest rates going down any further, especially with this inflation that's getting a bit out of hand, if you ask for my opinion. So yeah, definitely think about fixing your mortgages for the long term, and also just prepare yourself for an interest rate rise. So by that, what I mean is, don't go maxing out your borrowing on your properties, or be aware of the rent that you're charging, and also just be aware of what your interest payments will be should the interest rate go up by 1% or 2%. Now, according to the statistics, mortgage applications are actually 10% higher in September than they normally are. So to me, this is telling me that there's certainly no slowdown in people buying properties. Again, this backs up my theory of property prices will continue to increase over the foreseeable future. And I know at the minute it's really, really difficult to get into buy-to-let or property investing because of this reason. The competition is just way, way too high. Chances are, if you go to view a property or put an offer in on a property, there'll also be 10, 15 or 20 other people doing the same. So I do understand it's really difficult at the minute, but be persistent, keep looking, keep searching, and I don't think there's ever a bad time to get into property as long as you hold them for the long term. Anyway, that's enough of me babbling on. Hope you've taken something from this quick video, and I'll catch you soon.